It's Elon Musk accused of election interference.
I would not be surprised at all if he is actually trying to interfere with the election. I don't even know why Kamala is on Twitter. Like, I don't know why the government, any government site is still on Twitter. Like, the White House still has a Twitter page. Twitter's number of active users has plummeted.
That's true. I mean, you say that, but I have actually been a government contractor, and I can tell that they probably can't. Hello, how the tech are you? This is our weekly tech show. We talk about science and tech and any kind of science and tech news that we feel like talking about. I am historian Matt, and my co-host here will introduce himself later. So we're just going to jump straight into, I have exactly one story to cover. It's probably the less interesting one. We're going to cover that big news everybody was talking about earlier this week, a little bit later. But for my one story, it's Elon Musk accused of election interference. Basically, after Kamala Harris' presidential campaign announcement, suddenly no one could follow her on Twitter. Attempts to follow at Kamala HQ on Twitter would fail. Sometimes it's just something went wrong. Other times it says you reached your follow limit, even though you shouldn't have reached your follow limit. Musk responded with a screenshot of the something went wrong error with his response was sure did. So this is kind of an ambiguous response. Some people say he was admitting to election interference, basically, but I would argue that it could be that he's just acknowledging the error. If I was, going to be charitable to him, I know that's not what we do here, but just for we'll move on. Anyways, users of Twitter also reported having problems playing Kamala's video posts. So the video post would not, any post on Twitter by Kamala Harris, the video would not play. Elon Musk has come out publicly in support of fascism. I mean, Trump. He's come out in support of Trump. But so these errors and Musk's support of Trump has raised concern about election interference. What do you think, HK?
I would not be surprised at all if he is actually trying to interfere with the election. Like, he literally a couple of weeks ago said that he was going to donate $45 million a month to Donald Trump, to like the Trump campaign. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, obviously the guy is like fully on Trump's side here. So I don't even know why Kamala is on Twitter. Like, I don't know why the government, any government site is still on Twitter. Like, the White House still has a Twitter page. Get the fuck off Twitter. What are you even doing? Yeah,
they really should be on Mastodon, but everybody is on Twitter. So I don't know.
Twitter's user, Twitter's number of active users has plummeted.
That's true.
Like, yeah, Twitter still has more users than Mastodon by an order of magnitude or two, I think. I don't know. I think Twitter still has around 100 million, and Mastodon only has around 15 million. But Twitter is fully partisan now. Like, Twitter itself is partisan. So why would the government be on a partisan platform? I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, and my thought is also just Mastodon is federated system. They could just set up their own Mastodon server that's, government Mastodon or, mastodon.gov, right? And at least cross-post their stuff there. Then they'd be able to manage their own server and, have all their data will be on their servers and, for their own use. I mean, it's a social network, so it's not something that you're really worried about it getting out because it's supposed to be out. It's social network type stuff, but it's having the control over it, not having a private company controlling all your data. That causes a problem. I don't know what to say, but yeah, and also Twitter's now super partisan.
Yep, and it doesn't even have to be Mastodon. These systems are designed to work between each other. ActivityPub systems are designed to talk to each other, even if they're not running the same software. So email, I can have Gmail and you can have Exchange, and we can still talk to each other even though we're not running the same server software. It's the same with Mastodon and the Fediverse at large. I can be on Mastodon and you could be on, for example, I think there's one called Pleroma. You could be on Pleroma and we could still talk to each other. Pleroma might be an interface for Mastodon. I can't remember, but there are multiple Fediverse softwares. One that I use all the time is called Lemmy. Lemmy works differently than Mastodon. Lemmy is more like Reddit, whereas Mastodon is like Twitter. But they are Fediverse. They're both Fediverse systems, so you can actually comment on things that are on Lemmy from Mastodon. So, I don't understand why the government wouldn't want something that either use an open source tool or use a tool that some company provides, or just write your own. The government hires software engineers to write stuff all the time. They could hire a software engineer to write a federated social networking platform that uses ActivityPub so it can talk to Mastodon and all the other Fediverse servers.
I mean, you say that, but I have actually been a government contractor, and I can tell that they probably can't.
I don't know. Some of the government has made good software in the past.
Okay, fair enough.
I won't say they always make good software, but they have made good software.
Yeah. I mean, really, if it's open source type stuff, usually that's fine. They can just reuse that. There's not a big deal. Private companies, there's usually some more controls over it. So it's actually better if the government uses open source stuff. But government contracting and particularly for software with the government it has to do with the government's processes and stuff. Doesn't go well. Oftentimes it can, but oftentimes does not.
Truth Social is actually just a Mastodon instance that doesn't federate.
Right.
So there's already what do you call it? There's already an example of someone taking that sort of open source software and building a social network specifically for political reasons. I mean, obviously he's not a government employee anymore, trying to be one again, but Donald Trump is just a private citizen at this point. But there's no reason that the government couldn't do the same thing and federate it. There's no reason they couldn't fork Mastodon and create their own version that has whatever things that they would need to obey laws or whatever.
Yeah. I was going to say, I haven't really gone on Twitter, and I haven't been on Twitter in a long time, although I still automatically post stuff there because I have a service that will post to, Mastodon and Twitter and LinkedIn randomly, which LinkedIn works pretty well for some of these posts because I usually post these videos. Anyways, but I was comparing Mastodon to Facebook because I still use Facebook. I still have a lot of people that I talk to. Although I think using Facebook is a little bit of it's not quite the right word, because whenever I go on there and look at the post, there's hardly any posts from my quote friends on Facebook, right? that I actually see. Most of the posts are a lot of them are ads. There's just a huge number of ads, and then there's a huge number of different groups and stuff that show up, not any that I'm signed up for. There's some of them that I am signed up for, but a lot of them I'm not signed up for, and it's Facebook suggesting them. And those groups are always far right groups. It does not understand my interests at all. And then I switch over to Mastodon and I just do the home feed, right? Which is basically everything that your server, everything that somebody posts on any server that is connected to your server, right? The server you're on, right? And it's just a fire hose of stuff, right? And it's not your friends, it's all random stuff, but...
You're talking about the federated feed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yep. The federated feed is basically unusable.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is I just go on there and look around. It does scroll fast, right? But so much of it is it's all leftist content, right? A huge amount of it is leftist content. Then you get random
there's a reason
and stuff like that. But
I run the server that you're on, and
right.
A lot of the right-wing content on Mastodon breaks the terms of service that I wrote for our server.
Okay.
So I defederate from a lot of them.
Okay, that may be what's going on.
So you would be seeing more right-wing content if the right-wing content on there were at all okay, but like,
Right.
you know, for example, transphobia is against our terms of service, and like most of the right-wing content on Mastodon is that kind of content, like transphobia, homophobia, misogyny. Like it's very like, how would you put it? Like hate speech. Like it's just a lot of hate speech.
Yeah. Well, all I can say is Twitter sucks.
Yep.
Mastodon's much better. And you say, it's funny you talk about like the transphobia and stuff, and I think like half, no, it's not. It's like maybe like 10% of my feed on Mastodon is trans something, like pro trans stuff, right? Or content from trans creators, right? So like not a lot, but a lot more than you would expect based on the actual population, right? But anyways, it's all much better. Even though there's like no filter, there's no algorithm or anything. So you'd think it would just be all random stuff, but it's
and like a big reason for why you see a lot of trans community members on Mastodon is, with Mastodon, you choose the instance that you're on, and the instance can have different moderation rules. Yeah. So you can choose an instance that has moderation rules that protect you from hate speech and targeted harassment. Whereas on Twitter, you know, they used to have rules against hate speech, but Elon bought it and got rid of all those rules. They used to have rules against like dead naming people and misgendering them, but they don't have that anymore. So Twitter is much more friendly with bigots.
Right. Yeah. That's all I got. Elon Musk is probably doing some election interference on Twitter. That's the gist of it.
Thank you for tuning in. This has been How the Tech Are You? We do the show every week, and we release them in segments on YouTube. You can also find the show in podcast form and all of our other shows at echoplexmedia.com. If you want to support us, you can do that at eplex.store or patreon.com/echoplex. Another video will be up on the screen right around here. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a great Tekken week.